9:16. Welcome back to the morning show with Jeff and Will here on AM 1700 WRCR Haverstraw, WRCR.com. For you big Disney fans, it's a big day. It is not only the history of Mickey Mouse Day, it is Minnie Mouse's birthday, and it is National Princess Day. Probably not a coincidence.
Wow.
Go celebrate all those rodents and princesses in your life. We turn now to our annual Monday segment that we have every Monday at 9:15.
Annually.
It's annually. We have it annually. We have it weekly. We have it all the time. It's every Monday at 9:15. Who could possibly forget it? It's Tina Traster of the Rockland County Business Journal. Good morning, Tina.
Oh, thank you for that walk up. Let me leave my Disney castle now and come spread the news.
You got to live up to that walk up now. Here we go. You got 15 minutes.
All right. Well, I tried. Well, the sad news of the week was the sort of mass terminations from Good Sam Hospital in Suffern. Mm-hmm. We reported that nearly 24 employees in long-time managerial and administrative positions were terminated to their absolute surprise, I might add, from Good Sam. The sort of, kind of head rolling where people are just called in and given their notices and perhaps negotiated severances, but really just no notice. That it seemed that from all the sources we spoke to, the hospital community was really reeling from this as these firings were just unexpected. All in the managerial and administrative level positions. No doctors, no medical people, no union people. And then the big news also, of course, was that we learned that Dr. Mary Leahy, who's been the head of Bon Secours Charity Health System, is now retiring early next year, which presumably was part of this whole clearing out. As many know, the hospital is merged with or was taken over by Westchester Medical Center Health Network. A while back, which is a 9-hospital system that's headquartered in Valhalla. And they had put out a statement saying that they were laying off about 130 employees across their system. Again, they reiterated in corporate and administrative roles. But basically, people who were familiar with the layoffs say that of almost a third of that was Good Sam itself. Or within the Bon Secours Charity Health System, which is Good Sam, St. Anthony's Hospital in Warwick, and Bon Secours in Port Jervis. So those are the majority of the 30, and then the majority of those are the 30, and then of the 30, most of them, as I said, were at Good Sam. So this is, this is not good news as we head into Thanksgiving and the holidays. And, there are many at the hospital who basically say that, this is devastating, that these are people who have relationships in the community. One high-profile person who was let go the foundation, which last year brought in, or rather dispersed, $3 million. This we were told from sources that this was a result of an audit, that they're looking for cost cutting, that we reported that according to Moody's, they recently downgraded the rating of the Westchester County Health Care Corp and Charity Health System to a B1 from a BA1, and that the downgrade reflects a material decline in liquidity to a, quote, very weak level concurrent with growing near-term demands on cash. So anyway, that all sounds, like blah, 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 but the truth is there's a real human cost when this many people are basically forced out all at one time. So that was a bit of sad news. In contrast to that, unless any questions, thoughts, or comments, I shall move on to happier news.
Yeah, no, we love happy news. Let's get to that.
Okay, so the good news of the week, I thought, was that Rockland County finally purchased that historic Peter Depew house. You may recall that we had done a big story about that back in January and talked about it on this show. And the county they allocated 2.9 million for the continued preservation efforts with the Open Space Fund money. So the Depew House this is a historic house. It's a sandstone Dutch house from the 1700s on 32 acres in New City. The county acquired both the home and the farmland to preserve this heritage-rich property, which is really a symbol of Rockland's history and a resource for community engagement. The deal was brokered by Howard Hanna Rand Realty. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Also interesting about this purchase is that the Farm Alliance will be using the property for farming and educating the community about local food production and environmental stewardship. The house itself has a really, really, fascinating history. And again, I would, if people are interested, go back to our story that we put out in January, where we sort of laid out, the owners and how it came to be that they were trying to sell the house, but it was really their wishes that this would be preserved. This really is a treasure. Rockland County has lost almost all of its farmland, and as well as many of its, if not most of its, historic stone buildings. This Peter Depew House, as it's known, is actually listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It was thought to be built somewhere between 1750 and 1780. If anyone doesn't know where this is, it's located east of Zukor Road, close to the Jacob Blauvelt House, which is the home of the Rockland County Historical Society. And, the property just has so much value, both architecturally and in terms of open space and in terms of a history and a legacy of farming. So I think that was the goodest news of all, I think, for last week. Thoughts on that?
No, it is interesting that the county has gone on it seems like a spending spree, preserving open space and land and some properties in some cases. That is important to the legacy of the county itself. I know some people bemoan the loss of farmland, and that is sad, but the county has grown, and a lot of the land that people live on today was once farmland. That's just the way it is, but it is nice to see those preservation efforts taking place.
I definitely think so. We had reported that that in the 1850s, the agricultural census had shown that the Depew family, they were farming potatoes, rye, corn, oats, buckwheat, and hay. And it said, quote, they have a few milk cows and were producing butter. And the 1880 census, in the 1880 census, it said the farm includes 3 hogs, 30 chickens, and 4 acres of apple trees. Interesting about the apple trees as we try to bring orchards back. And William Blauvelt, who lived in the house until the early 20th century, was also growing flowers, according to his 1955 obit. So yeah, it's I don't know that I can't think of another 32-acre tract in the county that's being used for farmland. Blanky, the Farm Alliance, that's Cropsey Farm. I think that's, if I'm doing this from memory, I would say it's maybe 7 acres. I think it's under 10. So I don't know. This might be if this really does bring back a true farming operation. I think it could count as possibly Rockland County's largest opportunity.
How soon do you think that could be up and actually being a farm again?
It should not take years and years. From what I understand, again, from the story that we did, the house itself is in pretty good shape.
Well, is somebody lined up to actually be the one who starts a company there that becomes a farm, or is that just the hope and the goal?
Well, I think right now this is being negotiated for the Rockland Farm Alliance manage or whatever, but I cannot imagine, based on stories we've done about them not that long ago, that they are going to have the resources and manpower to just get started farming. I mean, what would probably make sense, and what I know they do up in Ulster and in Sullivan County, is parcels, portions of the land are leased to to farmers or sub-farmers. I'm not sure what the lingo is exactly, but it would seem that that would be the logical way for this piece of land to go forward. I don't think that the Rockland Farm Alliance has the wherewithal. I think that they struggle just to maintain their own farm at Cropsey. So I think there's going to have to be a real outreach in order to get people interested in farming, plots to maybe some sort of to set it up so that there are, different growing sections or I mean, I don't see how the Farm Alliance can just take this over and manage it with their own limited resources. So, we will wait to see how that starts to evolve. But it's a great opportunity. It would be so wonderful to have true farming back in the county. So and clearly, the history shows that it was possible to grow all kinds of crops. It should be still. And orchards. I mean, orchards. That's a great opportunity. So we'll see if we've got, like, Marvin Bound is trying to bring back he's working on a grape orchard to make wine. Apples. That makes sense here. Lots of farming opportunities that would be a great addition for the county, no doubt. So this was a good purchase, and I think everybody's applauding the county for this choice. They have, as you said, been on a spree of snapping up land, and in some cases it's just kind of passive open land, and that's good. But I think this is the first piece of land that they purchased that should be dedicated to farming. So that's a great goal, and we'll be there to continue to report on this and see what happens.
Will be interesting to see how that does develop. If maybe there's a way they can not only develop a farm but have prices that are competitive to what's hitting supermarkets these days. With eggs at whatever it is, $4 or $5 a dozen, and they can come in and say, you know what, buy farm fresh eggs, we'll charge you half. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how much appeal that has. Thank you so much, Tina, for joining us as always. We will talk to you again next Monday. Have yourself a great week.
You too, everybody. Bye.